I think a lot of people nowadays definitely have some form or some type of ADD or ADHD, and I do think that the phones and social media have a big thing to do with it. And one thing that I've started to implement in my life, especially this year, is I really try to put my phone down and have it like away from me around, like, let's say normally around like 9:45, 10 p.m. because normally I like to get in bed around like 10:30. So like I try to put my phone away like before I go to bed. But the reason I bring this up is because I have also been victim to the doom scrolling, or like just sitting there and scroll. And I do think that a lot of people, a lot of their mental problems either come from that or are what even fuel that further. And like, let's be honest, guys, how many times have you opened your phone just to check something, and then 20, 30 minutes later you're scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube Shorts, and you don't even remember what you were looking for in the first place? That's doom scrolling. It's not just about wasting time. There's actually a deeper reason why your brain keeps pulling you back into that endless feed. And once you understand that, you can start taking back control instead of feeling like your phone owns you. And I think a lot of things in life, like a lot of stuff, the more stuff you own, they end up owning you. But the phone specifically sucks because you pretty much need a phone nowadays. I mean, like, yeah, I guess you could get a flip phone, but in terms of like checking like your mobile banking, in terms of like apps and logging into stuff, you always need this two-factor authentication BS everywhere. People invest on their phone. Your phone is pretty, I would say almost a necessity, damn near. In the modern world. And that's what makes it hard, is because you need to find a way to make sure that you're not getting constantly pulled into your feed and into the phone and having it own you. So I'm going to give you guys some things that I've implemented, but also just my thoughts on this topic in general. But first, let's define what doom scrolling is. In my opinion, doom scrolling is compulsively scrolling through your phone, especially when it's like negative, shocking, or even just endless content. And I would say the biggest one for me is probably Instagram, because Instagram is really the only social media that I use like on my phone on a good amount basis. Like, I don't really use Snapchat, I don't really use Twitter, I don't really use Facebook. It's mainly just Instagram. And then YouTube I use as well. But honestly, on YouTube, I tend to watch more longer form content, kind of like I'm making here now, like, videos that are not shorts and things like that. So I would say mainly my my vice in terms of doom scrolling would be the Instagram one. But I do think doom scrolling is built on dopamine loops, right? Like, your brain gets tiny hits of novelty each swipe. Maybe it's something that's funny, or sitting there laughing, got the feet kicked up, chilling. But it's like a slot machine. Like, you're just sitting there, you keep pulling the lever, you keep scrolling, because maybe the next pull will give you something exciting, shocking, and rewarding. But I do think there's a deeper psychology behind it. Like, because if you think about it, us as humans, we are wired to pay attention to threats. We're wired to pay attention to negativity. Like, that is kind of like a survival instinct. But social media companies and algorithms, they know this deep down, so they feed you more of it. They keep feeding you the fear, the novelty, the excitement, and it's an addictive combo. And if you think about it, like, think of your brain as like an ancient alarm system, right? It's scanning for danger, except now, instead of lions, it's headlines, it's memes, it's drama, it's, all these type of things that are being put on your phone at all times. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't really blame the humans for falling victim to it. Like, it is hard to sometimes pull yourself out of that. But I do think there's a genuine cost of doom scrolling, right? And obviously there's the time drain. Like, that's an obvious one, hours lost without realizing. But I do think there's a deeper cost, and really that's just the energy suck and mental health hit. So, like, not only are you wasting your time sitting there, and let's say you doom scroll for 2 hours, right? Not only are you wasting 2 hours, but there's also an opportunity cost of 2 hours, meaning you could have done something with that 2 hours instead. So it's really 4 hours you're wasting at that point. And like I said, there's that mental health hit. There's that constant negativity. There's that constant influx of up and down emotions, anxiety, happiness, comparison, thief of joy, all that type of stuff. And you just feel mentally fried, but you haven't actually done anything. And you're basically just eating junk food all day, but it's coming through your phone. So let's talk about how to break out of it. I do think this is something that a lot of people struggle with. I myself struggle with it too. But I think that being aware is definitely the first step, right? Like notice when you're scrolling mindlessly. A lot of people just scroll, and they don't even notice it. And sometimes when they do notice it, they want to stop, but they also like kind of like it. So I would say if you're looking for some dopamine or if you're looking for something to satisfy you, like maybe replace but don't remove, right? So maybe swap doom scrolling with something that actually theoretically could help you. Maybe that's creating your own content yourself. I think that watching YouTube videos, longer form content, stuff like this to learn things is good for sure. Like I think there's some utility in that for sure, but I would definitely not recommend doom scrolling like short form content. And trust me, like we all do it. Like I'll probably do it later today a little bit. Like it's something we all do. I'm just saying that like make sure that's not something that you're relying on and something that you're like consistently doing on a long-term basis. Make sure you are, putting in those good habits and stuff that wanting to actually improve in life. And that's, I think, important. And one thing you could do is you could set time limits. So like one thing I have on my phone is I have time limits set for like my apps, not like all of them, but I do have like time limits set for like Instagram. I normally don't even hit it, but like if I do go over like an hour or something, like for the whole course of the day, like it'll like give me an alert. So then like I get off it. But that is something you could do. There's like time caps, there's like certain app blockers, or even just removing apps off your home screen or deleting them. I've even talked about this before, but like I actually delete my apps off my phone. And then if I really want to go on there, I'll just install it again. And people might think that takes a long time, but it actually doesn't because it saves your login info. So like literally as soon as you load up the app, you're already in there. But I would just, treat it like a diet. A lot of people cut out sugar. A lot of people cut out, certain bad food or seed oils, all these different things. Cut out doom scrolling. You'll probably see a difference, right? So I think that, when you really think about it as like an opportunity cost, like you might have more motivation to do it. Like every scroll that you're taking is a trade. You're trading your time, your focus, your energy. And if you reclaim even just 1 hour a day, that's 365 hours a year. That's almost 2 full working months you could spend building something meaningful. So just think about that, guys. Like I have other videos about like, 6 months of focus and like things about like how you can change your life in 90 days. And if you just think about it from like a pure mathematical standpoint, like if you quite literally were to quit doom scrolling for like a 6-month time frame, that's a whole full months of work you could have like working on something. Think about what you could get done then. You could probably get done a lot. So I just think that it's important to reframe it not only as like a bad habit because it doesn't get you anywhere, but it's also stealing from your future. There was a saying I heard not too long ago. It was about investing, and the guy was saying how every dollar you spend now is stealing $10 from your future due to investing in compound growth. Well, I'll take that a step further. Every minute that you spend doom scrolling now is 10 minutes you're stealing from your future. If you think about like where you could get yourself in the future, or like a business you could start, or like I said, using that time to create something for yourself that could give you more time later in life. You quite literally are stealing from your future by doom scrolling. And I know that sounds funny, but you literally are. So it's important to reframe it in that perspective. But I do think that, once again, like I don't think all social media is bad. I think like if used correctly, it can be okay. But the truth is like doom scrolling isn't really about, like being lazy. It's about your brain chasing cheap dopamine and algorithms designed to keep you hooked. Like, I don't even blame you. I don't we all struggle with this, right? The problem is every hour you give away to the scroll is an hour you don't get back. And the question is, are you okay with trading your life away a few swipes at a time? Or are you ready to actually take back control and put that time into something that actually moves your story forward, that actually gets you to where you want to be? I think that's the most important part. And because everyone, like, it's so funny. It's kind of like, especially on like your feed, like you'll when you go on social media, you see stuff on your feed about like, me and bro and building a business. It's like, okay, how about you get off your phone and actually build a business then? You know what I mean? It's like it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. But I want to hear from you guys. Like, how many hours do you guys think you lose each week to scrolling, and or maybe how many times per day do you find yourself doom scrolling? You know, what do you think draws you to it, or what do you think is the reason why you're sitting there doing it? But if you could just take one of those hours back every day, guys, I do think that it could be meaningful to you, and I would be curious to know how you guys might spend that or what you guys might replace it with. But wanted to come on here and kind of make a video about that because I do see a lot of people struggle with this today. So drop it in the comments, but I'll see you guys in the next one.